Imagine waking up in a world where your morning routine is a legal minefield. You step outside and the wind catches your hair. That's a crime. You hum a song to yourself on the bus. That's a crime. You see your partner and reach out for a quick, instinctive hug, and suddenly you're facing 74 lashes in a public square. This isn't a scene from a dystopian Hollywood thriller. This is the daily reality for 88 million people living under the Iranian regime. In Iran, the most basic human impulses, joy, love, music, and expression, aren't just discouraged. They are treated as acts of war against the state. In the next 15 minutes, we are going to pull back the curtain on the most extreme and terrifying rules imposed by the Iranian dictatorship. We'll look at the laws that sound too absurd to be true, the morality police, who enforce them with drones and facial recognition, and the real people who paid the ultimate price for daring to be themselves. From the blue girl, who chose fire over a prison cell, to the 9-year-olds legally forced into marriage, this is the true cost of defiance. Stay with us until the end, because the final rule on this list proves that in Iran, even your soul requires a government permit. Before we dive into these stories, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We tell the stories that powerful regimes spend billions of dollars trying to silence. By watching and sharing, you're making sure these voices are finally heard. The regime's greatest obsession is the control of women. It starts with a piece of cloth. Since the 1983 hijab law, every female in Iran, including girls as young as 7, is legally required to cover her hair and body. But this isn't just about a dress code, it's about a patrol of fear. The Gasht-e-Irshad, or morality police, move through the streets like a paramilitary force. They aren't looking for criminals, they are looking for stray strands of hair, too much makeup, or pants that are too tight. In 2022, the world learned the name Mahsa Amini. She was a 22-year-old Kurdish woman visiting Tehran, laughing with her family when she was snatched off the street for improper hijab. 3 days later, she was dead in police custody. The government claimed it was a sudden heart attack, but leaked medical photos showed a fractured skull. Her death ignited a global movement: woman, life, freedom. But the regime didn't back down. Instead, they doubled down, installing thousands of high-tech facial recognition cameras to identify women driving without headscarves and impounding their cars remotely. But the war on women goes deeper than what they wear. It's about what they say, or rather, what they sing. Since 1979, it has been illegal for a woman to sing solo in public. The official religious justification? That a woman's voice is too sensual and might provoke impure desires in men. This law has effectively erased generations of female talent. In 2018, the world met Mayday Hojabri. She was just 18, a gymnast who loved pop music. She posted videos of herself dancing and singing in her bedroom. No stage, no audience, just her phone. She was arrested, her Instagram account was wiped, and she was forced to give a confession on national TV. In the video, she is shaking, crying, and apologizing for offending public morality by simply moving to a beat. And then there is the stadium. For decades, Iranian women have been barred from entering soccer stadiums. The regime claims stadiums are unsuitable environments where men use foul language. In 2019, Sahar Kodayari, known as the Blue Girl, tried to sneak into a match disguised as a man. When she was caught and told she faced 6 months in prison, she couldn't take it. She walked to the front of the courthouse, doused herself in gasoline, and set herself on fire. She died a week later. Her death forced FIFA to pressure Iran into letting a few token women into matches, but for the vast majority, the gates remain locked. In the eyes of the Iranian state, joy is a form of Western cultural corruption. Let's talk about dancing. In most cultures, dancing is the ultimate expression of freedom. In Iran, it's a ticket to a jail cell. Public dancing, especially between men and women, is strictly forbidden. In March 2023, two young women, one only 16, filmed a dance routine to a pop song in front of the Azadi Tower, a symbol of Tehran's history. They weren't protesting, they were just dancing. They were tracked down via CCTV, arrested, and forced to apologize on camera. Their faces were swollen, leading many to believe they had been beaten into submission. But it's not just public dancing, it's private affection. Imagine you are at your own engagement party. You're happy, you're in love, and you hug your partner. In Iran, that hug can cost you 74 lashes. Islamic law forbids physical contact between men and women who aren't married or close relatives. The morality police often rely on tips from neighbors or even family members. A single photo uploaded to a private Facebook group or a leaked video from a wedding can trigger a raid. The punishment is designed to be as painful as it is humiliating. Public flogging that leaves permanent scars, both physical and mental. And where do they find the evidence? Your phone. The regime knows that the internet is the only place where Iranians can feel a sense of freedom, so they've turned it into a digital trap. Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are all banned. To use them, Iranians must use illegal VPNs, but the government has developed its own halal internet, a closed system where every message is monitored. In 2023, it was revealed that the state uses AI to scan social media for immoral content. If you post a selfie without a hijab, or a photo of a glass of wine, or a like on a protest video, you could receive a phone call from the intelligence services the next morning. One of the most bizarre cases was Sahar Tabar, the zombie Angelina Jolie influencer. She used Photoshop to create a macabre, artistic persona. The regime didn't see art, they saw blasphemy and corruption on earth. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Though she was released early following the Mahsa Amini protests, her story remains a warning. Your digital reflection can be treated as a crime. The regime doesn't just want to control your actions, it wants to own your future. Perhaps the most heartbreaking law is the one regarding children. In Iran, the legal age of marriage for girls is 13, but with a father's permission and a judge's signature, girls as young as 9 can be legally married. This isn't just an old tradition, it's a growing crisis. Thousands of child brides are married off every year, often to settle family debts or to much older men. These girls lose their education, their health, and their childhoods. When they try to resist, the law doesn't protect them. It protects the honor of the men. Take the case of Romina Ashrafi. At 14, she tried to run away with a boy to escape her family's control. When the police found her, they handed her back to her father, despite her begging them not to. That night, while she slept, her father beheaded her with a sickle. Because of Iran's blood money laws, a father cannot be executed for killing his child. He received only 9 years in prison. In Iran, a girl's life is often worth less than her father's pride. The regime also views education as a threat. Studying abroad is a dream for many young Iranians, but for the state, it's a source of ideological contamination. Students who return from Europe or the US are often treated as potential spies. They are interrogated by the Revolutionary Guard, forced to hand over their social media passwords, and sometimes barred from working in their chosen fields. The goal is simple: isolate the youth so they never learn that a different world is possible. And then there is the matter of faith. In Iran, you don't choose your religion, the state chooses it for you. Converting from Islam to any other faith, especially Christianity or the Baha'i faith, is considered apostasy. It is a capital crime. Pastor Yusuf Nadarkhani spent years on death row simply for refusing to recant his Christian faith. While he was eventually released after massive international pressure, dozens of others remain in house churches, meeting in secret basements, knowing that a knock on the door could mean a life sentence. The Baha'i community, Iran's largest non-Muslim minority, faces even worse. They are banned from universities, their businesses are shuttered, and even their cemeteries are bulldozed. When a government is terrified of its people, it uses the ultimate weapon, the crane. In Iran, protesting isn't just civil disobedience. It is legally defined as Moharebeh, which literally translates to war against God. When you stand in a square and shout for freedom, the state doesn't see a citizen. They see an enemy of the Creator. This allows them to bypass normal legal protections and move straight to the death penalty. After the 2022 protests, the regime began a campaign of judicial murders. They didn't just want to kill the protesters, they wanted to make it a spectacle. Majidreza Rahnavard was a young man, an athlete, who joined the protests. He was arrested, tortured into a confession, and within weeks, without a real lawyer, he was hanged from a construction crane in the middle of a public street. They didn't even let his mother know he was being executed until after it was over. And the regime's memory is long. They don't just execute the young, they execute the elderly to prove that no one is beyond their reach. In 2024, Ali Moazi, a 72-year-old political prisoner who had already spent nearly 2 decades in and out of cells, was executed. He was frail, he was old, and he posed no physical threat to the state. But the regime needed to show that they never forgive, and they never forget. A strand of hair, a pop song, a hug at a party, a dance in the street, a soccer match, a prayer in a basement, a post on Instagram. In most of the world, these are the small, beautiful, ordinary things that make life worth living. In Iran, they are the front lines of a revolution. Every time an Iranian woman walks outside without her veil, she is a revolutionary. Every time a young couple holds hands in a park, they are rebels. Every time a girl picks up a book instead of a wedding ring, she is fighting for her life. The Iranian regime spends billions on cameras, drones, and gallows to keep the people silent, but you cannot execute a dream, you cannot hang a song, and you cannot imprison the human spirit forever. Freedom shouldn't cost this much. But for the people of Iran, it costs everything. If this video opened your eyes, please hit the like button and share it. The regime thrives on silence and darkness. By sharing these stories, you are bringing the light. Tell us in the comments, which of these laws shocked you the most? Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next story.